And we are back with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. I am your host, the Hockey Princess. We've got Crusty Old Guy. Guys, just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. Speed bump one already?
Speed bump one already, and join our hockey league.
And please join the Princess League. It's a little dainty at the moment.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say it first in case people like tune out after like halfway through and we don't get to mention it.
That's fair. Yes, please join our league. Our draft is not until Monday. Where was I even going before the speed bump? Oh,
I don't
because
know.
hockey is back. I can give out this spiel once again. If you are going to a Blackhawk game, any NHL game, Rockford, college game, junior game, please wait for the whistle. Do not get up while the puck's in play. Do not try to find your seat while the game is in play. Please, and please, if you have to leave your seat while the game's in play because it's an emergency or something, that's absolutely reasonable. Or if you have a tiny tot that, you just got to take care of, that's reasonable. However, if it is not an emergency, please just wait for the whistle. And with that, let's get into it, Krusty.
Okay.
Got a few things in the NHL world. First off, it was announced today that Joseph Woll will be taking a leave of absence from the Toronto Maple Leafs due to a personal matter. We hope that he's okay. His family is okay. Of course, my mind, I'm not going to completely speculate, but my mind immediately goes to, someone's hurt, and maybe that just with the Darlene news that came out last week. Now, my immediate thing is if somebody's leaving for personal reasons, then someone's really sick. So I hope that, if anyone is sick or hurt, that they get better soon.
Word. I'm with
and
you.
then second thing, oh guys, Blackhawks lost.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Anyway, second thing in the NHL. Guys, I have another cat. Face Off second season comes out next week, October 3rd. Should be entertaining. I think they're following, for those who have watched or watched season one, or if you're like Christy, you watch part of season one, they should be following some of the same ones, and then there's going to be some different guys. It looks like they're still going to follow, of course, Florida and Edmonton. Looks like Nylander's still in the mix, but I think at least from the trailer, it looks like you have a lot of different faces, especially with them covering Four Nations. There's a lot of Sid the Kid content. So I'll be very excited. For those who don't know what Face Off is, it is essentially the NHL version of Drive to Survive. For those who don't know what Drive to Survive is, it is behind the scenes sort of. It was a Netflix TV show behind the scenes getting into Formula One. The same producers for Drive to Survive did this hockey variation. I know there's some folks that aren't the biggest fan of it, think that it's a bit of fluff. As someone who got into a sport from these types of shows, I got into Formula One by watching Drive to Survive. I do think there is a benefit to having these shows, especially it gives new fans or even just newer fans to different players, be it maybe you're a California fan and you're going to learn more about Sidney Crosby in this second season. Newer fans, in whatever aspect you identify, I think it's good for them and good for the game. I think it's an easy way for people to learn about different teams and kind of the lore of different teams and different players. However, I would agree that, there is definitely a line where I don't think everything, it's television. So everything's there's going to be added drama to it. So I wouldn't take everything that's said with, the heaviest grain of salt. However, like I said, I do think TV shows like this and, kind of behind the scenes things like this are good for newer fans.
I would completely agree with you. It is not my cup of tea whatsoever. I don't like it. I don't understand why celebrities still now need to be followed around by more cameras, even on their off time. It seems all crazy to me. But you're 100% right. It is for a lot of people. It seems to be that it's a good way to get into the game. And most people enjoy it. And just because I don't enjoy it doesn't mean you can't.
And I think there's bits and pieces. There were definitely episodes that I really liked. I think last season when they kind of deep dived into Landeskog and his time off the ice, it was pretty insightful because even though I would classify myself as a pretty big fan of hockey, but like I didn't know, that's not my team. I don't know what Gabriel Landeskog was doing or what his recovery was kind of like. So it was cool to kind of get that look at it. You're going to say something smarmy.
Unfortunately, I feel like crusty old guy just goes down a different path going, when do I get to see the fight between him and his wife? When do I get... It's just such a little piece. But again, I'm slowing this down and everybody really enjoys it. And I actually watched some of it and I enjoyed it. So
you enjoyed it?
Well, it was right before bed watching. So, it wasn't, it's not the meat of my television watching, but it served a purpose.
Well, and I think it definitely serves a purpose. And I think also Face Off really covers, players that new fans are going to see a lot, whether they watch the NHL or not. The guys that are in the Face Off series, you see them at Four Nations and you're going to see them in Milan. Those are the guys that are going to the Olympics, with the exception of a few, because I think they're trying to cover more players this secondary season that maybe might be as big, but you're going to get in the inside on players that even if you don't watch the NHL, you're going to see on like an international scope.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. I cannot wait to watch, even though that is going to be far too much Canadian content for me. Got anything else? Oh, before we jump in, a very important. Oh, wow. He's got notes, friends. But I've got to get the latest tally for my new favorite thing because the Florida Panthers aren't playing today. And because I've beaten that dead horse, guys, it is Jonathan Toews' first game. Granted, it's preseason, but 19 is skating. 19 is skating with a letter A on him, which to everybody who was in the comments being like, who gave up their letter A? Anyone should give up their letter A for Jonathan Toews. You give it up gladly. It is Jonathan Toews. And this man is at 12 minutes and 6 seconds for time on ice through 40 minutes of play.
It's excellent. Well then, in my notes here, because I got a couple things to talk about.
Love it.
I will segue right off of that, though. I will, just to let your listeners know, everybody kind of handles preseason differently. The Jets are a pretty veteran-laden team. So Scott Arnold basically went around to his veterans and said, all right, what, 2, 3? He said some said 2, some said 3. But that was basically it. And then he stopped. Then he said, well, one guy said all 6. And I can tell you right now, he's not playing in all 6. And can you guess who that guy was?
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, who said, I want to play all of them. As far as the giving up of the A, yes, I am sure. Is Scheifele still the captain?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you better check. I know I'm asking questions when I don't know the answer to it. That's bad. But anybody would be more than willing to give up the aid of, trust me. That is a presence when it walks into a locker
Adam
room.
Lowry.
Yes.
I knew it wasn't Shifley.
And a good presence. Shifley used to be, he got it taken away, and I'm sure he's got one of the A's.
Yeah, probably.
So again, I'm really looking forward to that. It's just very sad that somebody else gets to claim him. It really depresses me.
Yeah.
It does. It does more
I
than
will
more
say,
than 88. It's just
well, yeah.
so.
I will say though, and we talked during the postseason. I do have a soft spot for what the Winnipeg Jets. I do like their system, their team, the guys on the team. And taking the hometown hero aside, if he had to come and play in the division, I'm glad it's them.
Yeah.
I in as much like I still would cheer for him regardless of what team he's on, as long as he's not in that nasty yellow or that gaudy blue down in St. Louis. I'm glad it's Winnipeg.
Yeah, so here's hoping that everything goes well. All I gotta say is he's not the type to try coming back or say he's coming back if he's not already dialed in. That's the way Johnny is. So I got a couple other NHL things if you want me to go through them.
The floor is yours, Krusty.
Because we've got new things coming in the NHL. We haven't discussed. Nobody's discussed, unless you know, Hockey Princess, who is going to be the Chicago Blackhawks e-bug. Every team this year will have their own e-bug. It will be traveling with the team. It will be taking practices. It will be a paid job.
Laurent Brassard.
No, he does not meet the criteria. You cannot have played in an NHL game.
A full NHL game?
Yes, in one NHL game. You cannot have played in one NHL game.
Right, but does it specify that you stepped on the ice and that counts as playing an NHL game, or playing?
I would assume that is considered playing an NHL game.
Well, I just like Scott Foster came in after a point. So it's like, is it specified?
That I am unsure, but there's still a couple things unsure of. Also, they have to have less than 80 pro games. And they have to be out of the pro world for the last 3 years. These are all fascinating things for me. Plus, I want to know, and I'm getting this information from Friedman from his show yesterday. But I'm interested, how much does that pay?
I don't know, but also, who is our e-bug?
Exactly. You're the first one to be bringing this up.
Ben.
Nobody else. Ben doesn't even know it's on the radar. We're going to let Ben know maybe. We might not. We'd like to be the first here. We're above the curve. Okay? There's everybody, and then there's us. Now you've been let into the world of Krusty's ego.
We are superior.
So that's the only stuff I know. I don't know how much it pays. I've got a figure. It's between 100 and 200, but I'm unsure. Supposed to be I will get that next week. But that's kind of a neat gig. What that really does is this is a guy who's going to get peppered. Because after somebody gets a couple starts, they might not want him practicing as much. And the e-bug is going to see a lot of practice work. It's going to be quite a job. But that's one of the changes. The other change that I just found out about, endorsements. NHL players are now allowed to endorse alcohol for the first time ever. Now, my question, of course, right off the get-go
Our
is,
roster can't even drink yet.
can Connor Bedard still endorse alcohol even though he's not of drinking age? I'd like that question answered. Why does he need to be punished just because he's not the drinking age? We could do a nice commercial saying, once I'm able to drink, I'm going to drink. So that one should be pretty interesting. I've got to figure some marketing people should come up with some funny stuff. And maybe every player will have their own vodka or whiskey.
No, does this mean that we get Connor Bedard in the Benny's commercials instead of Chris Chelios?
I don't know if they're willing to pay him, but yes, it's possible. So that was my other little thing. And the one more thing I had as far as all the new rules we kind of went over, which was the playoff cap.
Yep.
I did do a little bit more of a deep dive into that. It is not at the beginning of the playoffs. You have to have a set cap. Each game, it's either 3 or 5 hours before game time, your roster that you're icing can't exceed the cap.
Ooh.
So you will still have the opportunity maybe to take out a $5 million player and put in a different $5 million player. So that's a little tweak that might get interesting.
Yeah.
Through the playoffs, maybe.
Good thing we're not good enough to worry about that.
Well, no, we won't be. Well, we don't worry about the cap. It has nothing to do with the playoffs or not. We're miles upon miles upon miles. We're hoping to maybe get some other guy who's not playing, who has a $10 million contract, and we can take that one on too and say he's on our team. And that's all I went over. I did a little deep diving today instead of looking for extra people to talk to us for your Monday episodes. So sorry, I'll get back on that tomorrow.
Perfect. All right. Well, then jumping to our first prospect report of the season, guys, because I know what you're thinking. Hockey Princess, everybody's at camp. College hasn't started yet. Yes. But that means I have 2 prospects to talk about because there's 2 prospects that are not in college and they're not at camp. So we have your 2025 Blackhawk draft pick, Anton Friendel, with already 2 points in 4 games. And your Roman Kantsarov with 7 points in 8 games. And we talk about this every year at the beginning of the year and kind of periodically throughout when we bring up Kantsarov's point production. And this will also apply to Friendel. Their system is significantly different, and how you judge their point production within those leagues are significantly different than college and the CHL with the Canadian juniors. They are not doing a bad job because they're not racking up a point per game or like Nick Lardis monster numbers. That is a completely different system. They're not always going to play every game, and that doesn't, like, that's not a dig at them. That doesn't mean anything less of them. And just their points are going to look a little bit different being in the SHL and the KHL because they're both in professional leagues versus college kids and the Canadian juniors where, you know, it's other 18-year-olds playing other 18-year-olds.
Correct. And as to piggyback on that, I'm going to attempt to do stuff here too while I'm talking to you. I don't know if I'll be able to. But as we say, you know, the numbers might be a little different.
Right.
But also it depends on the player. And I'm trying to get Kantsarov's age right now. He's an older player. So you're going to be expecting this season for some decent,
right? Like 7 points in 8 games, I would say right now is kind of I'm fine with that, at least for right now, for Kanserov. But
he
for
is still just
new
21.
listeners,
So.
we don't bring up the professional levels every week. Usually we kind of just go through juniors and college, but that's also because colleges have websites and juniors have websites, and I can't read Russian to translate Kansarov's points on a weekly basis. So we bring them up periodically. Yeah, Kansarov's not that old. I mean, like,
he's
he's
just
not,
21.
it's not like he's 18, but.
Right. Where is the other prospect who is Frondell? He is a child playing in a man's league.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're playing in a man's league is pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That is all I have on the Tiny Tots. Except for since first preseason game is finished, and we'll get to that in a second because Krusty, I already know, has a lot of opinions. Both Jack Pridham and Merrick Vanaker played in the first preseason game tonight, and as Darren Pang told us during the first period that this was kind of, they got one game and they're set to go back to juniors. So Merrick Vanaker will report back to the OHL with the Brantford Bulldogs, and Jack Pridham will also report back to the OHL with the Kitchener Rangers.
Correct. I'm trying to keep my lighting up here, and I'm struggling.
Yeah, you're just struggling.
Hey. Go ahead.
Before we get to the big club, because I want to give Krusty as much time as he needs to share his feelings. And we haven't talked about that. We talked about it a little bit, but I am hosting a hockey class, friends, with the Chicago Women's Sports Club. It is not team specific to the Blackhawks. So if you have specific Blackhawk questions, or if you're like, I want to do this, I want to get into hockey, but I live in New York, and so that is where my allegiance is going to be. This is not Chicago specific in terms of the class. The class will kind of do a solid breakdown on the NHL in terms of the layout of the NHL as well as the game of hockey. And I know what you're thinking. I'm definitely going to bring out the whiteboard. Some people to know, some people I think that you should know. We are not going to break down other leagues in the class. So no AHL, no ECHL, no PWHL. Not because I don't want to talk about them, because I will certainly yap about all leagues in hockey as much as I can. But this is kind of just the absolute intro to, we're going to start off with the NHL, just because there are some nuanced differences between the NHL and the PWHL in terms of their point system as well as their penalties that are different. So we're kind of just do intro on this one first before we get too carried away and start talking about other different leagues. So it is October 2nd, 6 p.m. Central Time. If you are interested in said class, all you have to do is sign up. It's completely free. So we love free things because learning about hockey should be free and available to all. All you have to do is reserve your spot at ChicagoWomenSportsClub.com. It's under the hockey class. There's also a baseball class the week following, but the hockey class, and then come learn about hockey, friends.
Yeah, that should be a fun little thing for you to do. My only take on this is, especially in these times and everything else, there's no better way to come together as a group like watching sports. And there's probably no better sport to watch than hockey.
That is true.
So, and as I'm being pointed out by many, many people, you know what? You're allowed to like more than one team. You're allowed to just like the sport. For an old guy like me, none of that computes. But for the next generation, I just see it everywhere. So,
Well, I think you do get it. I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks are your team. Your number one team will always be your number one team. But there's certainly players, and, we pick our favorites come postseason. So I think there's, individuals that will cheer for three teams. Good for you. That's not my cup of tea. I have my April teams that I will hop on the bandwagon, or teams that I have allegiances with because of a player. But there's also just like other players that I like to watch.
Yep. And as I said, it's a good way to be social and have some fun, and hopefully ixnay some of the meatheadedness that goes along with it sometimes.
Yes. So October 2nd, reserve your spot at ChicagoWomenSportsClub.com. If you
What was that?
To, at ChicagoWomenSportsClub.com.
Okay, third time?
ChicagoWomenSportsClub.com.
Okay.
If you want to learn about what's the difference between 2-minute and 5-minute penalties, if you want to know about the importance of Logan Thompson and Kirill Marchenko, and if you want to learn the absolute best place to get food before a Blackhawk game.
All righty.
All right, Krusty.
What?
I'm scrolling.
You're scrolling? Okay.
The floor is yours. We have had our first game. We have had camp. I mean, we're still technically in camp, kind of. But yeah. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
I'm almost wanting to hear everybody else's thoughts tomorrow, because I've noticed a lot of the people that are the X, the Y, and the Z that told me, oh my God, you won't even be able to see Connor Bedard. He's so fast that now there's actually another team there that was just practiced before. Okay, I want to hear what they have to say. Again, it brings me back to by some of these people, the blatant disrespect for other hockey players is frightening to me. That you think they're just going to run roughshod. It's not the case. As far as tonight's game, I don't know what your thoughts are. It looked like the same old thing, did it not? A team that struggled to stop people, that got hemmed in their own zone for like 2 minutes, that would not have even been in the ball game had it not been for their goaltender. It looked exactly the same. I saw no difference. This is unfortunate. Where was Lucas Reichel? I think he played. I am unsure. For me, it was that kind of stuff. We can start with the good. I thought EDM had a couple rough shifts to start out with, but he showed the rest of the game exactly what you were going to get from him. When EDM gets to his spot first and he gets physical, he is exactly what you want and exactly somebody you want at the other side of Sam Renzel. That was a definite in the plus column from what we saw. Other pluses, Bedard looked good at the dot. Bedard with a nice goal. I know what that kid can do with his shot. And it'll be helpful when he plays with better players once the season starts. Somebody that can finish some of his passing, because that might be an underrated part of his game. He sees that ice too. I thought he really showed that again tonight. That speed thing, he's not putting fear into anyone, I don't think. But I think he's gotten a little faster. But his vision, when he gets people that can actually shoot the puck after he delivers it to him, will be nice to see. The rest of it was just, it's the same old song and dance, not a lot of fight. Everybody kind of sticking their nose in there a little bit, but not really. And, it was brought up on my board. This will be the beginning of the bash and pop era. How does this go? You saw the product on the ice for a game. You can't be happy with it. You can't be happy with the effort. So now the shit starts hitting the fan. Okay? So we need more effort. I mean, NASCAR was NASCAR. Sam Renzel had a nice Statue of Liberty play for the first goal against, but Sam is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Sam's a threat offensively, and I think he'll be good enough defensively where it'll be okay. We even saw in this game they're going to attack him differently. They're going to flip the puck behind him and make him turn and go to the puck and then hold the puck, which will be difficult. That's going to take some time, and I'm okay with that. And Artie had a rough game too. So I'm more disappointed in the lack of what I like to call getting into the game. It's more going through the motions. If it's easy and they have a break to go down the ice, they're fast. But the rest of the game, they're not that fast. So, what were your thoughts there, Hockey Princess?
I think this game was a prime example of why 67 should be on your opening roster come October 11th. Because, good God, where was anybody's heart? Where was anybody, with the exception to 98? Like you said, I know what the kid can do, and I know that the kid cares. There will never really be a time where I'm saying that Connor Bedard does not care about the game that he's playing, because that's just not true.
Right.
Where was it from literally anybody else? I mean, Bloom was probably the best part. I think after the first period, I was like, oh, we are back where we started. We're not putting the puck in the net, and our goaltender is saving our ass. Once again, I've watched a whole season of this. I've watched many, no, because 2 seasons ago, we really didn't have that much of a functional goaltender. I've watched a season of it. I'm sick of it. And to be honest, it's a little concerning that Kyle's not sick of it. I will be very concerned if Blashill accepts this as just, acceptable playing, because it's not. Granted, it's preseason, but there were just things that I have seen in the past, I've seen in this game, which makes me believe that, it's not just preseason. This is just the culture and the expectation that these kids have learned from the vets that are on this team, that this is fine. This is fine. Just come in, play 60 minutes, get your check. This is fine. It's not fine. And
I think you hit the nail right on the head there. It's the culture. And the culture. I don't need a balls out effort from 98. He is my number 1 line centerman. Whatever he needs to do in his 3 preseason games to get himself ready for opening night is fine by me. Same thing maybe even for NASCAR, but everybody else on that ice, I mean, some of them are fighting for spots or thought they were fighting for spots. And yeah, you hit the nail right on it comes to culture that I expect, especially Detroit dress their B prospect squad, who is pretty darn good. As much as we like to trumpet all of our prospects.
No, Detroit's prospect.
So
there's not an issue with Detroit having prospects in the Yzer plan. It's what Yzerman is doing with those prospects in the Yzer plan that's making it dysfunctional. There's nothing dysfunctional about these kids. There's nothing dysfunctional about Sebastian Cossa. Sebastian Cossa has been wreaking havoc down in the AHL with Askarov as goaltenders for the past couple of years. That's not the problem. With Yzerman, it's what he does when they come up to the big club that's concerning. But no, Detroit's, I mean, there were some, hold on. I need to look up Detroit's.
Yeah. I mean,
you had some that were not the B club. I'd say it's not a 50-50, but I don't want to completely call it a B club. Just because I like the Nygaard kid, Danielson, Carter Bear, who I mean did go in the was a first round pick
Right.
this past year. You got the William kid, not my favorite William kid, but one of them. So you've got kids that are, I think, are definitely expected to be pieces. So I wouldn't call the lineup a complete B team from Detroit because they've definitely got guys that I think Detroit's figuring are there for the future, or at least as of right now. But I think there was just a complete lack of effort from the team, whether we're good or not. I mean, I'd like us to be good, but we're not going to be good. But at least if we're not going to be good, can we care? Can we care? Can our bench care? Can our roster care? Can it be okay that we're not okay, that nobody's caring?
Yeah, I'm with all of that. You were outshot like 3-1. Zone time was probably off the hook, and I was told we were going to be hounding people. I didn't see much hounding.
I
There,
saw us getting hounded. I saw
yes,
Ryan Green and Oliver Moore getting hounded because they can carry up the puck pretty well. But the moment it gets into the offensive zone, we're just like, yes, here you go. And I'm like, no, 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 no. And I know shame to this guy because I know he's a former Crusty favorite. But neither of these kids are going to start playing like Alexander Fortan and getting cherry picked all.
hey, you froze. I hope you're going to unfreeze. I don't know if our part of the discussion now, you're going to come back online or not. This is now frightening to me. Or maybe you're still talking and I'm frozen. But either way, yes, the Alex Fortan, another really, really fast guy. Hey, you're back. Whew, that got really scary for me. I don't know how that goes in our whole um, live podcast. I don't know if you're talking then or if they get to hear me. I don't know
The
how it
world will
works.
never know.
But sorry for that technical glitch. Um, but yeah, I saw no speed in their own defensive zone. And Core still does not look good.
To be fair,
Yes, be fair.
no defenseman looked good aside from EDM.
Yeah,
Because
I
if
thought
it looked
I
good, Detroit would not be in our zone for 75% of the game.
true.
No one looked good.
But it was the constant slow to the puck battle and not big time on the puck battle. You've got to anticipate to make contact to take somebody off of the puck. And all forwards struggled to do that. There was a lot of that poke and hope.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I was
Did you have
told.
your clicker out?
All right. In full disclosure for Krusty, Krusty had the clicker, and then watching the game, Krusty completely forgot about the clicker.
You lost count so quickly.
No, I didn't even start counting. That's how lazy Krusty was. So yes, that's a -1 for Krusty. That's poor effort on my part. But I'm old. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle the dream of using the clicker, but I'll try again next game. Listen, all this does is hopefully put everybody's expectations where they need to be of exactly where everybody's actually at, than thinking that Oliver Moore is going to come and run roughshod over the league. This all takes a little while, and they've all got to learn how to win one-on-one battles. As far as your heart piece, I did see a little bit of a pulse from Colton Dock.
Yes.
He did want to mix it up.
But why did he get yanked off the first?
What do you mean?
He got yanked off Bedard's line.
Yes.
Why?
They wanted some more speed. I am sure to mix it up and give more of a look. And then being down, you want to try to make this look better. So then you start putting Nazar and Bedard together to hopefully catch a break and get a goal.
It's the putting Johnny and Kane around the same line.
Exactly. So I get some of that. It's a preseason game. Yes, mix it up a little bit. But I liked some of what Doc did. And that comes down to if he doesn't do that, he doesn't serve any. That is his job. His job is to muck it up in front of the net, be a little physical, and I thought he showed some of that tonight.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely agree with you on Doc.
Everything else, it was.
But everybody else,
yeah.
Why are we getting Lafferty? Where was Lafferty? You know who could have been there instead? Savvy.
Well, everybody's going to get their minutes at some point in time.
Yes.
I'm
saying as a whole of acquiring this offseason.
Yes. Yeah, again, we've got a big problem with that one, and again, whatever, but what we saw tonight was exactly what we've seen for the last 2 years. It's easy to have a nice photo up of these guys on the ground after doing some stop and goes, like they're trying to recreate the miracle thing. It's another thing to see that effort in the third period of a game, and I didn't see it. It's going to be a tall ask for Bashel, because they have to play harder.
I think
that's all I want.
That's not even, that is on Bashel, but that's got to be across the board in terms of not only him, but the new assistant coaches as well. Everybody's got to be holding them highly accountable.
Exactly. And again, it's preseason. Let's not go crazy reading into it.
But we're going to go crazy reading into it because we have a podcast.
But you hit the nail on the head, and this is especially, it's not going to come from just Bash or the assistants. Each player needs to hold the other player accountable. Not so much right now in preseason. I get that. But in another 2 weeks when this season starts, that's what I need to see.
Okay.
When I see people not battling, I expect the veterans on this club and the leaders on this club to start questioning it.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my question, because I get that it's preseason, but we are dealing with a culture issue within the locker room. So it's okay if it's not preseason, then when? Oh, it's the beginning of the season. They're still getting their footing. Okay, when? When is the when of that we are holding folks accountable?
For me, it starts with Florida. I have acted very nice for 2 years.
Guys, this has been Krusty being
nice.
This
has been Krusty acting nice. Starting this year, these guys are all a little older, and the veterans are veterans. They're all held accountable from puck drop in that Florida game. And if these kind of efforts start there, everybody's held accountable. So, hey, fingers crossed, early season hiccup, blah, blah, blah. It's going to get better. You've got people trying to maybe do too much to try to showcase themselves.
But I think EDM, I do agree. I think EDM made a good case for himself, with the exception of Detroit's first goal, but that also looked bad on Sam.
Well, yeah, Sam, that was a big struggle for Sam. And again, that's going to be his learning curve this year.
Yeah.
And I'm okay.
And we said that last week, and we've said that before. He's going to, none of these guys are coming into this absolutely perfect. They don't need to work on anything because we're all human and that's not how life works. But it's not the concerning. Do we need to talk about Rockford, even though Rockford is development, not demotion? But it's things that he can work on up here.
Right. And again, most of the people that you saw will probably be down in Rockford. That
That's good,
Rockford that
'cause you need
Rockford
vitamin
team
C.
that Rockford team better be a top 3 team in their division. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Anything below that is a fail. As far as Rockford is concerned, right now they're held accountable for wins also. At some point in time, we got to start to teach these kids how to win, and that needs to happen in Rockford because there'll be enough talent there.
Yeah.
So again, it was disappointing. I don't want to, I have a tendency to really go, so I'm going to try not to do that.
Yeah. It's
Again,
preseason, but there were concerns.
I think you have a solid pairing with Renzel and EDM. I
And they
believe,
seem to really like playing with each other too.
yeah, EDM will do all the grunt work. And as long as EDM understands that he's got to play quick and he's got to get to the spot first and then be physical, EDM's fine. That's more of a mindset. And I think after his first couple shifts, he got into that mindset completely. There's always going to be the mishandling of a puck in a bad pass. Every defenseman does that.
All right. That happens.
So I think they're a set pair. I believe Pickle and Murphy are a set pair. What I've heard is they would like it to be Artie and Kaiser for the other pairing.
I'm scared.
Well, Kaiser with a really nice goal. But he's got his issues being physical, and Artie's really got to be coached up.
Did you see? God, I forgot what it was. But there was like a moment where they were in their own like defensive end, and just Artie just would not stop skating, trying to like chase the guy with the puck. And I'm like, calm down, just stay. But also, I did appreciate it in the slightest, and this was one thing I wanted to talk about with camp when I went to camp. But I did appreciate it because, like, I think sometimes it's a Blackhawk problem where the opposing team has the puck and then just no one moves at all. And it's kind of just like a standing and waiting game. And I saw that when I was at camp on Saturday. Give me 1 second. You fluff something.
Fluff something. Okay, so I will attempt to fluff. I don't know if fluffing means I'm supposed to bring out the bright sides of this game tonight, but basically, again, my biggest knock is still with the forwards, who seem to really be quick on their first 2 strides in the offensive zone and awfully slow in their first 2 strides in the defensive zone. And they have to start hounding the puck and going after it. I didn't see any of that tonight. I thought that was going to start to be our team's identity, and we were identityless tonight. I can't think of any other forward that I was really impressed with. Again, I know what the Beacon of Hope can do, and that shot is badass. And his vision's fantastic, but again, he's not going to be playing with these guys. He's going to be dishing Donato, and hopefully he is scoring. She's writing more stuff. Oh, geez.
I got the whiteboard.
Uh-oh, she's got the whiteboard. This should be interesting.
So there was...
So basically, for those new, defensively in their own zone, they will be running what they call a hybrid, which means a little bit more of man-to-man chasing. Yes?
So X's are this was a drill that they were running on Saturday. So X's are the coaches. And then you had like 3 forwards here, defensemen, and then whoever was in net. And it was like the coach, like they essentially had to move to all 4 corners, like throughout the play to get like the puck from the coaches, but they weren't moving. So Bash and Pop would like blow the whistle and was like chirping at them every time they had to run it because they just wouldn't move. And so I do appreciate, already moving around a little bit, because I think that's one thing that Bastion Pop's trying to like get to them is like, you can't just be completely stagnant. You do that in the power play, and you do that really all the time. But if you can't just like, you have to move. You have to make a decision, even if it's the wrong decision and like you get deked or whatever. You have to move.
Correct. And
Felt good to bring out the whiteboard.
Again, it'll get better. He'll take a lot from this coaching wise. There'll be a lot to sift through. Again, preseason for the most part for this team is getting them ready for opening day. If you go through the lines, basically all the spots are sewn up. I believe all the forward spots are sewn up. I believe Landon Slaggard and Colton Dock will be the kids that will be making this roster. Doc will play on a fourth line role, and he's there to be physical. And Landon Slaggard is what Landon Slaggard always was. Again, the perfect example is what he did at the World Juniors. He is a third line hounder. And if he doesn't hound, and if he's not quick to every puck, he can go back down.
Right. And it can get fun.
Right. So I think you've got all of their lines figured out.
Yeah.
That's all done. I don't know what they do with the rest of their defensive pairings. As I said, I think that third pairing, what they want is Artie and Kaiser.
Right.
And that would be either Creature or Allen up. But again, if Gretzlick plays well, I don't know what happens with all this stuff. I do know the odd man out. The odd man out is core. He's back down in Rockford, and hey, maybe he doesn't understand how to play defense for another 2 years. That's okay. Okay, but if he gets it, he'll be valuable.
Changer.
But you got to remember, this is a kid who it was not on his resume playing defense.
Right.
So that was the gamble on him. So again, Allen will probably play the next game. He's got a chance to showcase what he can do. Creature, I thought, looked good at times, and at other times didn't. But again, when you're getting some such weak defensive help from your forwards, it's hard to evaluate the defenseman. And again, we just don't have a lot of talent. I understand everybody drinking the Kool-Aid, but at the end of the day, this is the NHL.
One thing you guys can count on, it's that Krusty will never drink the Kool-Aid.
I won't drink the Kool-Aid until it's actual Kool-Aid that tastes good. And you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see things that will start to click, and you'll be like, yes. But you're definitely not drinking the Kool-Aid out of 2-on-2 drills. Okay? So it was an eye-opener probably for the fan base a little bit. And I had the app, and the app froze on me like 2 times. So, but hey, it was fantastic to watch hockey. I was pacing around a little bit before 6 o'clock just to watch the game. So it's good that it's back. It's going to be another rough year. Let's hope we get an identity, and hopefully this year is we're able to change the culture at some point in time. And again, the guy that I look for in that will be Frank Nazar. I believe that's what we are attempting to model this team after. Somebody who doesn't hesitate and is constantly going all over the place. So, I don't know. Did you have any other takeaways from tonight besides, again, we can go back to Bloom looked phenomenal.
Bloom looked great, but I've been a Bloom defender. So, I like the man. I think this season will continue to prove that he deserves more, in my opinion, more than what Kyle pays him. But I think he looked great. I think you can definitely tell. I think you saw it more at the tail, like the second half of the end of last year. But the one thing that really has been a notable difference for me is like his confidence has skyrocketed. And I think it's a notable difference because there was a point in time where his confidence was just absolutely in the shitter. Mainly, partially, that might just be the amount that he had to play unexpectedly. There was definitely we don't have a goaltender. He's playing with Jackson Stauber. Like, we had like 5 goaltenders in a month sort of thing. And I think also he may or may not be one of those individuals that, like, granted, I think all people are, we're human, where it's like the little seed of doubt gets in and then it just like tends to manifest. But there was a point in time where, his confidence was absolutely gone. And I really think he appears to look significantly confident in his net than he has in the past. And I think that's not only great for us as a team that struggles to score, but I think that's just great for him in his own growth as a player.
Yeah, and I mean, losing breeds losing. And I'm not talking about just the final score, but when you're watching a team losing so many battles in front of you constantly, it wears on you.
Yeah.
And you're in the mindset of, I have to win this. I can only give up a goal. And it's too much for any goaltender, but you constantly see the bad product in front of you. And yes, that gets in your mind.
Yeah.
So, but it was great to see him on pace.
Yeah.
Let's see what Bash and Pop does.
Let's see what Bash and Pop does. As a final tally, because guys, this is going to be way too much fun. This might be my new thing. Winnipeg Jets lose, unfortunately, to the Edmonton Oilers. Johnny with a -1, but 18 minutes and 36 seconds in full game. Second in terms of forwards behind Cole Perfetti. I think solid ice time for the guys' first game back. I'm probably going to watch this once we stop recording because, gosh darn it, I'm just so excited to watch Johnny play hockey. But no, that is all that I have for our club for tonight. Do you have anything else for this week?
No. Again, I just caution everybody, don't get too down. Don't get too
excited.
Just kind of go with the flow.
It's preseason, which means if we lose, nothing matters. But if we win, we're going all the way.
Right. And at the end of the day, there's not really any spots available. So when people start to get, Rockford starts their practices Monday. So people are going to go down.
And that's okay.
And yeah, I think Bash is going to want some time to start running and practicing with his squad.
Fingers crossed.
This is an important year to, as we've stated, probably the 10th time already on this show, to change the culture. So
everybody needs to get it together. All right. That is all for this week. Just as a reminder, folks, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. It's not too late, friends, to join the Princess League. Just email us at thehockeyprincess@gmail.com or click the link below to set up your team. Draft is next Monday, the 29th. That is all. And we will talk at you guys next week.